What happens when one of the greatest actors of our generation sits down for what should be a simple chat about his latest film, only to be blindsided by a host who refuses to show even basic respect? In just 33 seconds, one careless comment would ignite a firestorm that would see Anthony Hopkins walk off the set of Loose Women, leaving Denise Welch exposed as someone who let her ego destroy what should have been television gold. The studio lights were bright that afternoon, hotter than usual under the glare of the overhead rigs. The Loose Women set hummed with its familiar midday energy, makeup artists darting between chairs, producers whispering into earpieces, the faint smell of coffee and hairspray mingling in the air. A polite ripple of applause greeted Anthony Hopkins as he stepped onto the stage, his polished shoes clicking softly against the glossy floor. At 87, he moved with the quiet authority of a man who had earned every second of his legend's weight. He was here to promote The Forgiven, a psychological thriller he'd nursed for years, a passion project about a disgraced surgeon unraveling under the burden of a decades-old mistake. The panel awaited him: Denise Welch, Nadia Sawalha, Kay Adams, and Janet Street Porter. They smiled in unison, a practiced tableau of daytime warmth. Hopkins took his seat, adjusting his microphone with the ease of someone who'd done this ritual 1,000 times before. The audience settled expectant. Denise leaned forward, her grin sharp as a switchblade. "Welcome to Loose Women, Mr. Hopkins. We're absolutely thrilled to have you. Thank you." Hopkins replied, his voice low, courteous. "It's always a pleasure to be here." Denise's eyes glinted. "This new film, before we dive in, I have to ask what everyone's dying to know. You've worked with the best for decades. Be honest, who was the most difficult person you've ever shared a set with?" The question landed like a slap. Hopkins blinked once, slowly, the way a cat assesses a sudden noise. "That's quite an opener," he said, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "I've been fortunate. Everyone I've worked with has been professional. Film is collaborative. You learn from every soul on set." Denise waved a manicured hand, dismissive. "Oh, come on, we're all friends here. There's always someone. Spielberg, Streep, that director who screamed at caterers." She rattled off names like gossip currency. Nadia shifted in her seat, her fingers tightening around her cue cards. Kay stared at her lap. Janet's eyebrow arched like a drawn bow. Hopkins remained still. "I don't think it's fair to single anyone out. My focus has always been the work, not the noise around it." Denise's laugh cut through the air, sharp, joyless, so diplomatic, so boring. "Our viewers want the dirt, Anthony. What about that tantrum on the Silence of the Lambs? We've all heard the stories." His expression hardened just a fraction. "I'm not sure what you're referring to. I came to discuss The Forgiven, a film I'm immensely proud of. Perhaps we could start there." The audience applauded, sensing the shift. Denise, undeterred, leaned back with a smirk. "We'll get to your film, but first, let's address the elephant in the room. You've got a reputation, difficult, perfectionist to the point of impossible. What do you say to that?" Kay opened her mouth. "Denise, maybe Denise's hand shot up like a stop sign. "No, we're journalists. We ask the tough questions. That's the gig." Hopkins folded his hands in his lap, his voice steady but edged with steel. "With respect, I think you've confused tough questions with unnecessary confrontation. I agreed to discuss my work. If that's not of interest, perhaps I'm in the wrong place." Murmurs rippled through the audience. A gasp or two. Denise's smile flickered, then snapped back into place. "Oh, don't be so sensitive. We're just chatting, you actors. So precious when someone dares to speak plainly." Janet leaned forward. "Denise, he's here to talk about his film. We invited him for that." Denise shot her a look that could curdle milk. "Thank you, Janet, but I've got this." She turned back to Hopkins. "So, your film, another brooding drama where you stare into the abyss. Is that your brand now, doom and gloom?" Nadia tried gently. "It sounds fascinating, actually. Anthony, what drew you to this story?" Hopkins turned to her, warmth softening his eyes. "Thank you, Nadia. The character. He's not a hero, not a villain, just a man wrestling with memory and regret. I think we all know that struggle." "Memory and regret," Denise mimicked, rolling her eyes. "Thrilling. Ever do anything fun anymore, or is it all just arthouse misery?" The audience fell silent. Hopkins's jaw tightened. "I make the films that move me. I don't chase trends. I follow the work. Artist." Denise scoffed. "Big word. Some might call it pretentious." That was the spark. Kay's hand flew to Denise's arm. "Denise, that's out of line." "Is it?" Denise snapped. He swans in here acting above it all, too good for us. Hopkins rose slowly, unclipping his microphone with deliberate care. I've been in this industry 55 years. I've answered every question under the sun, but I've never been spoken to with such blatant disrespect on a program purporting to be professional. Denise stood too, cheeks flushing crimson. Disrespect? You've been condescending since you sat down. I was invited in good faith, Hopkins said, his voice rising for the first time. I expected a conversation, not an ambush by someone more interested in drama than discussion. Janet stood. Anthony's right. This has gone too far, Denise. You've been needling him from the start. Stay out of it, Janet. Denise barked. The audience erupted. Applause for Janet, boos for Denise. Nadia approached Hopkins. Anthony, I'm so sorry. Please sit. We do want to hear about your film. He looked at her kindly. I appreciate that, Nadia, truly, but I think it's best I leave. He faced the crowd. I apologize to you all. You deserve better. The applause thundered. People rose to their feet. Denise shouted over it. Fine, leave. Run when it gets real. Hopkins paused at the stage's edge. Real is respecting your guests. Real is doing your job with integrity. Real is not using someone's appearance to inflate your own ego. Kay stepped between them. Everyone, please, Denise wasn't done. You think we're beneath you. This silly daytime show with silly women. You probably laughed when your agent booked it. Hopkins shook his head. I've enjoyed many programs like this. The problem isn't the show, it's you. The studio gasped. Janet let out a sharp laugh, then coughed to cover it. Denise whirled on her. You think this is funny? I think you brought this on yourself. Janet said flatly. We all tried to warn you. Oh, now you're all ganging up on me. Denise's voice cracked. Nadia's eyes were wet. This isn't about sides, it's about decency. Hopkins watched the unraveling with quiet sorrow. This is what's wrong with this kind of television. You invite someone on, promise a conversation, then spring a trap, and when they defend themselves, they're the problem. A producer rushed on stage, frantic. The cameras kept rolling. Denise wasn't finished. You've been famous so long you can't handle being challenged. Hopkins smiled sadly. Challenging someone means pushing them to think deeper about their craft. What you've done is cruel, cruel. Denise shrieked. You don't know what it's like sitting here day after day, interviewing people who look down on us. Then perhaps, Hopkins said simply, you're in the wrong profession. The audience roared. Denise's eyes shone with furious tears. Janet approached Hopkins. On behalf of the show, I apologize. You've been nothing but gracious. Kay joined. This isn't who we are. Hopkins took their hands. I know. I hope she learns something from this. Denise found her voice again. You can't just walk out. You agreed to be here. You're right. Hopkins said, that was my mistake. I should have known this isn't a place for genuine conversation. It's a stage for hosts to score points off guests. Denise's defiance wavered. We've had wonderful interviews. Then ask yourself why this one was different. He gestured to the panel, the audience. Look around. Denise did. Nadia avoided her gaze. Kay shook her head. Janet stood resolute. The crowd was silent, riveted. I was just doing my job. Denise muttered. No. Hopkins said, you were chasing a viral moment. Congratulations, but at what cost? The producer waved frantically for commercial. No one moved. Denise's voice broke. You think you know everything. Hopkins stepped closer, gentle now. I've been dismissed and disrespected more times than I can count, but I never used it as an excuse to treat others poorly. Denise's mouth opened, closed. The fight drained from her. Nadia touched her shoulder. Let's take a break. Denise shrugged her off. Don't patronize me. Kay's voice trembled. We're trying to help. This is out of hand. Out of hand. Denise laughed hollow. This is real. This is a meltdown, Hopkins said. The kindest thing I can do is leave you to it. He faced the audience. Thank you for your support. See the film, it means the world to me. The ovation was deafening. Hopkins exited to quiet crew applause. Outside, his car waited. His phone buzzed. Dagent publicist colleagues. He silenced it, gazing out the window. Rough day, sir? The driver asked. Hopkins smiled faintly. I've had worse. Back in the studio, Denise sat alone as her colleagues huddled with the producer. Janet returned. We need to address this. Denise stared at the cameras. A guest threw a tantrum because I wouldn't treat him like royalty. Nadia sat. You attacked him from the start. We all saw it. I asked questions. Denise insisted. There's a difference between questions and hostility. Kay said. The producer begged for commercial. Denise faced the audience. You saw a celebrity insult us and storm off. Now my colleagues act like I'm the problem. Boos erupted. A woman shouted, "You were awful to him." Denise pointed. See, celebrity worship. Nobody cares about us. We care about you. Nadia said, voice breaking. That's why this hurts. Janet nodded. We can't support what happened. Denise stood, chair scraping. Fine, throw me under the bus, but he's no saint. He was polite. Kay said, you provoked him. The producer finally cut to commercial. Janet faced the camera. This wasn't the show we planned. We apologized to Anthony Hopkins. He deserved better. See his film. It's remarkable work from a remarkable man. Nadia, Anthony, we're truly sorry. You handled this with grace. Okay, to our viewers, thank you for your patience. We'll be back tomorrow with the warmth you expect. They looked at Denise. Silence. Finally, I may have come on too strong. It wasn't much. Janet sighed. See you tomorrow. The lights dimmed. Denise removed her mic and left without a word. In the dressing room, a crew member apologized to Hopkins. He smiled. These things happen. I hope she learns. The clip went viral. Think Pieces dissected the 20-minute catastrophe. Hopkins stayed silent, letting his dignity speak. Denise's half-apology trended for days. The Forgiven opened to acclaim, and somewhere a young producer rewatched the tape, taking notes on how not to conduct an interview. Close.